What's going on, everyone? It's me, Sade Burrell, Stand for Something. I wanted to come on here and talk about a subject matter that I think is very, very important. It pertains to two things. It pertains to foster youth and it pertains to traveling. And so I hope that with this particular video, you're able to gain something out of it, and feel free to share this with other people as well, not only just foster youth or people who travel, but a variety of people who I believe could benefit from this video. So I think a lot of people might be thinking, oh, Sade, you only talking about this because you just came back from traveling. Not true. Anyone who knows me knows that one, I've been talking about an idea that I have that I'm actually going to use and implement with my students, hopefully this upcoming fall. It pertains to traveling and encouraging more foster youth to travel. Here's the reason why I believe it's important just for anyone to travel, and then in particular why it's important for foster youth to travel. So for anyone, it's important for anyone to travel. You have an opportunity to see things that you've never seen before, hear things you've never heard, and you have an opportunity to engage with individuals and families and see things different than what you see in your current city. I remember the first time I ever got on a flight, I was 19 years old. First time I ever got on a flight, 19. And we were going to Washington, D.C. I was in this transitional living program that helped foster youth who just aged out of the foster care system. And I guess I was considered like a leader in the program. And I say I guess because it wasn't an official title. But they picked me to go to this conference that you advocate on behalf of foster youth to these lobbyists and politicians, etc. I actually met Barack Obama while I was on this trip. I still got a picture. I'm 19 years old. And so I remember telling the people, I've never been on a plane. And I'm scared. They said, okay, don't worry. So I remember, this is why I like Southwest Airlines. I've always wondered why I like Southwest. I don't like Southwest when I travel with my kids because it is very stressful to think if I'm in C group, I'm gonna have to find 3 seats in a row. That's stressful. But when it's just me, I love Southwest Airlines. Nevertheless, I end up going on this plane to Washington, D.C. I remember I had on a purple sweatshirt that said LSU. I was in community college at that time, and I always had a dream of going to LSU. Why I did not go to LSU is another story for another day. But I remember, actually, I'll tell the story because it has something to do with traveling. But I'll get to that when I talk about foster youth. So we go to Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is cold. So they already prepped me. You got to wear these type of clothes, etc. I've never been to snow. It's my first time seeing snow. It was my first time being on the plane. It was my first time seeing that many black people. Like it was my first time eating snails or escargot, whichever one you want to call it. But it was so many firsts that happened on that trip, and it changed my life. Like that made me want to go to LSU even more. I understand it doesn't snow and whatever. It made me want to do something even more because I had a chance to experience flying. So that trip led to me meeting an organization called CCY, California Coalition for Youth. And I advocated for, so that night, I met this guy who did poetry. I still got his signature and the picture I took with him. But that night they were trying to find a rep for a board member for CCY, a youth board member. And so I put together, along with my crew, we all made banners that said vote for Sade. I still got those pictures and everything. And I ended up winning. And so I was on that board for about 2 years, I believe. Two years. And so a trip traveling led to me being on a statewide board, and I had to fly out like every 4 months. So now I went from being my first time being on a plane to now flying to Sacramento often. And I got a chance to see Sacramento. Mind you, I had never really left the San Diego, LA area growing up. Like that was all I knew. San Diego, LA. We drove up to LA, etc. Now I have an opportunity to get to know what it's like to live in I know what it's like to experience Sacramento, DC, etc. Great trip. So what is that? That changed how I looked at the world. Here's what happened. During that time, community colleges did not offer study abroad. There was just no study abroad. So the next time I I got on a plane a few times, even after then, because of that organization. But the first time I ever left the country besides Mexico, because I live like 20 minutes from Mexico, so it doesn't count. Tijuana's right down the road from us. But the first time I actually like officially left the country because I needed a passport, it was to Israel. I did a study abroad program. I studied social work over in Israel for like 3 weeks. Life changing. I got a chance to see all the places the Bible talks about. Like, you get to walk the same paths. It was mind blowing. It was really a great experience. At that time, by that time I had kids, and so I remember I was crying the first week because that was the longest I've ever been away from my kids. And then I eventually kind of got not used to it, but I adjusted to not having my children around. When I went back home, I was very happy to see my kids again. Let me go back to why is this important for foster youth to travel. I told you guys I would share why I did not go to LSU. I did not go to LSU because of fear. Fear. I was scared to leave San Diego because I hadn't traveled a lot at that moment. I didn't get a passport until I was like 24. Right? Most people right now, they don't even have a passport. Most foster youth will never obtain a passport. And I think that all these organizations are coming together. What can we do to increase foster youth? They're getting pregnant by 22. They have a 50% chance of being pregnant. Yeah, of course they do. They're bored. And when young 20-year-olds are bored, they have sex. That's what 20-year-olds do. Just what they do. But I took my kids recently to Colombia. I was sharing with my daughter, like, you can actually travel for free. She said, really? She said, how? I said, they have programs where you can live in other countries for free and you teach English. So many different programs. I didn't know this growing up. So I thought, the first person who showed, I didn't know. But my daughter knows. She knows it's like to travel. They've had passports for a while. Before they hit double digits in their ages, they had passports. So that they got a chance to hear Spanish over in Colombia. The food, not only the food, that they experienced a culture. They got to see Black people who are not from Africa. They're from Africa, but they're not from Africa. They live in Colombia and they only speak Spanish. Like, it was beautiful. So that's why I travel with my children. You can think of it like this. Traveling could be considered. I wonder if these organizations began to pay for foster youth to travel, like study abroad programs. I wonder how much the pregnancy rate would go down. Because they see the world. They're like, hold on. I want to travel a little bit more. And if I have someone to travel with me, a baby or something like that, it's going to slow me down. Or, I know people, you shouldn't say slow me down. A child will slow you down from traveling. I know you're going to see a bunch of people who post videos with their kids. Sade, you just travel with your kids. Yeah, and that was their first time going out of the country, not on a ship. Because we've been on cruises and things like that. It's expensive traveling with children versus if it was just me. Do you know how I would have lived? Well, we did. I'm not even gonna lie. We had a great time in Colombia. We lived like queens, and my son was king. So we lived a great, but I'm saying, do you realize a plane ticket, cheaper when it's just you, cheaper when it's just you and your friends or whatever it may be. But when you got to pay for one child, two child, whatever it might be, it gets expensive. So I say all of this to say to you that these organizations, in my opinion, give them scholarships so they can travel. Otherwise, a lot of them, they're going to sit around, they're going to have sex. They're going to sit around and they're going to create kids. But if you show them a world outside of their immediate environment, even if they can't go out of the country, let them go out of the city, let them go out of the state, let them go, because the South is completely different than California. We think completely different. The North is completely different than the East Coast. It's different. And if you allow them to see those things, try different food, engage with, different communities, etc., that helps them. And it bothers me because the majority of the people in foster care are what? They are Black. So you're taking a group of Blacks and then you say, hey, you're not traveling. The fact that we're paying for you to have housing in group home setting or inside a group foster home or whatever it may, whatever housing we're providing for you, that's good enough. You know, take them to the doctor, taking them to therapy, but you know, no traveling. Oh no. In fact, the foster care system even makes it hard for foster parents to travel out of state with the foster kids. I did one time, one foster parent told me the process is so long. She's like, but we can't even plan a trip. So I think that traveling is a huge thing that we need to focus on. I mean, I have not really, like, all the music I've been listening to since I've come back from Colombia is music that I heard while I was out there. Like my Spanish, when I came back to America and I heard someone with a Spanish accent, my first response was to try to reply to them in Spanish. I only speak like that much Spanish. And so I wanted, because I was used to get these kids and these babies who are in foster care, get them traveling. Y'all overcomplicating stuff. Oh, why aren't they graduating from college? I'm telling you, I can't wait till I finish my research from my doctoral program. I'm gonna come at y'all with some straight facts. See, right now, y'all, that's just Sade's opinion. I'm coming with y'all with facts. I have an idea, and I'm gonna wait for my research to prove it. Why foster youth are not successful in higher education. I have a theory, and I also have an idea. I have an idea, and my research is gonna prove it. Well, even if my theory is wrong, that's okay. I'm all right with that. I'm all right with that. But I believe that it's one component matter of fact, I was just on a call right now. They were talking about financial aid and SAP. They were talking about that satisfactory academic progress. They were talking about it, and I'm like, y'all are talking about everything except one area. And then my research is going to prove it. Oh, I can't wait for my research. Nevertheless, foster youth need to travel. Help them get out of the country. Encourage them to do a study abroad program. All right, I remember one student we encouraged to do a study abroad program, and our program at the college I worked at, we paid for the program for her to study abroad. Life-changing. Life-changing. The student took Spanish 101 and then took Spanish 102, and then during the summer took a study abroad so that she could take the other Spanish, the third level of Spanish. Genius. So now you get to complete a class and you get to study abroad. Stop telling these kids college ain't for everyone. Anyways, with that being said, I wish you all nothing but the best. I hope that you learned something from this live. And God bless you all. And it's me, Sade Burrell. Stand for something.